We are the Elmore family, and this is the Luxury Pergola. How'd you like a roof over your patio that you can open up to let the sun in or close it to close out all the rain? And that's what you get with this product here. This is the Luxury Pergola. This is a product we originally designed for commercial applications. Myself and my father designed this product. We are the Elmore family, but we decided in the end to offer it direct to you guys because that was something we didn't see in the market, and we thought we could provide a great value with an American-made product, and all that stuff mattered to us. So everything you see here that we can source from the United States, we do, from our extrusions down in Georgia to our end caps about 10 miles down the road to all our fabricated parts about 20 miles down the road. We try and do everything here because quality is the most important thing to us. That's why we offer a lifetime transferable warranty on all of our pergolas. So we're gonna go through the details, the materials, the design features, those little meticulous points that we added in there that are probably more information than you want to know, but give you an idea as to how much we care about this product and how much we hope you will enjoy it. So I want to talk through first the extrusions that we have over here. Everything you're looking at here is a 6063 T6 alloy. Nothing's 100% aluminum. That doesn't make any sense. Everything's an alloy based when you ever use extruded aluminum for structural yield strength. What you're looking at here is a T6. That's a temper 6. T5 is a temper 5. The 5 to 6 actually is a big difference. Our T6 here you see is a 33% extra yield strength you'd get from a T5. It also is more expensive, which is why we use it. We want it to last forever, and that's how we get into the wind and snow loads we'll talk about a little bit later. All our structural parts are a little over 3 mil thick, or 0.125 inches. That's about 50% heavier gauge on all our structural components than you'll find even from the most expensive parts of our competitors. Even our louvers are a 0.090 thickness, which again is substantially about 50% thicker than you'll find from everyone else. Again, these little details you wouldn't think of do matter, and these decimal points do matter. On the outside here, you see there's a powder coat. Now we use a 5-stage pre-treat process that chemically etches the extrusion so that it's ready to bind mechanically to whatever is adhering to it. So a 5-stage chromate treatment that means that even if you put a gouge in this post on accident, the powder coat won't start chipping away because it's bound to the aluminum itself. The powder coat process is where they electrostatically charge powder and spray it onto the extrusion, and then they bake it in a kiln, almost like glaze on the outside of pottery, to basically join it or melt it onto the part. And that's what you have here with this, with all of our parts, from our posts to our frame, our louvers, our rain guard, our trim. Everything on here is a powder coated aluminum, including these slat walls we'll get into a little bit later. Now I want to talk through the louver design and why we did what we did there. So now that we're up here, what I want to talk about is the louver, the motor, and the overall operation. So here with the louver, the first thing that's important is going to be strength, just like everything else in the product. Here you've got that built in the design itself. This arch on top is something you see often architecturally, and this adds an extra rigidity and stiffness against deflection that you wouldn't get if it was just a single piece or single flat piece especially. So it adds a little rigidity there. You have support legs that come down. The thickness of this is something you'll typically see in the frame of most of our competitors. It's a 0.092 thickness or 2.33 millimeters. It's something you'd see usually in the posts and beams for most other pergola systems. Ours is in the louver itself because, again, we want something that can handle any environment that you never have to worry about. Now inside here, you'll notice that this has a dead air chamber, so the dual wall also allows for an insulation. So what happens is the top heats up, bottom stays cool because of the insulation between, or the insulated air between, much like an insulated glass pack. And that typically is really important on bronze or black louvers, more so than white or stone. But it is important that you don't want to be sitting underneath a pergola that's radiating heat down on you when you bought it for the cool environment. Now on the other side here, you've got the end cap, and this is a really cool innovation that we have. So this is a 33% glass-filled nylon 6/6 composite end cap. It's a lot of jargon. It's actually shot about 10 minutes from where we are right now in Indiana. Like everything, we try and buy from the US whenever we possibly can. So it's manufactured there to our specs. This allows you to have a self-lubricating pivot point. Most other end caps are aluminum, or it's an aluminum rod rotating in an aluminum track. And so what you have is the aluminum rotating on aluminum, which creates aluminum oxide because they grind against one another. And most sandpaper is made by aluminum oxide. So it doesn't sound very good or very refined, especially for the money. So what we have is a self-lubricating end cap. In the presence of water, it actually is hydrophilic. It'll absorb that water and lubricate itself, which is just a nice additional feature. You get the same sort of strength that you'd get out of something that's made out of aluminum or steel. All our stuff is rated based on this end cap, so you don't have to worry about that. We have a little bushing built into the actual end cap itself, so you don't have to put a bushing on every single nub as you're putting them on, which is just, it's an extra small little feature, but it saves you when you're going to install it, whether you know it or not. Everything's anchored on here with these T27 screws. That is included in the package, like all the bits, so you don't have to go buy something. But we do Torx because we don't want something stripping out. Other people might do a Phillips head, but you know, it's just easier to use something like this so that it doesn't strip the screw and you have to scream at us for needing a new screw. On this side here, we have the weather seal. It's got this weather strip here to keep water vapor from transitioning from above down below onto you. So it's there for that reason. The other reason is purely just function and how it feels. Like everything else, this weather seal here is a positive seal that when it closes on to the other louver, you don't hear something. Most of these other ones are aluminum closing on aluminum. That's what you hear. It's not very refined. It doesn't sound nice, especially for the money. And so what we want is a nice quiet closing of one louver onto the other. Now to get into motor operation, the whole unit obviously opens by remote control. As it's opening, you'll notice that it's pretty quiet. See if you can hear the motor. You shouldn't be able to hear much. I'm actually gonna stop it here at about 90 degrees. So the motor is the only thing you should hear when the whole thing is operating, not the end caps, not anything else. So it should be as quiet as possible. The motor itself is designed to obviously pull all of this weight. It also is IP66 rated, and that IP rating is for water infiltration and dust infiltration. You can see the chart here. The 6 is for dust infiltration, and the corresponding second number is for water infiltration. This thing is perfectly gonna be fine in rainstorms. As you can see, it's overbuilt for what you would otherwise need it for in this sort of environment. The water will just rush off. But the other feature here is, as I stop these at 90 degrees, we actually have a small acute angle here. It's a small feature, but we have it in there so that when you open these louvers up to about 90 degrees, the water still has a way to channel off and into drainage. If you had a flat angle here instead, what you'd find is that when you open to about this and try and let that sun in, all that water is gonna be dumping on top of your head, which most people don't like. So that's why we have this little small feature. Again, most of you wouldn't notice it if you weren't watching this video, but we try and think through everything we possibly can. So now, including this, we're gonna talk about drainage. So how the water gets out into the gutters and into the beams. We'll talk through the frame, the posts, and how these integrated gutters work down below. Now, after it drains off of the louvers, it gets into the gutters here, and you may not be able to notice where the gutter starts, and that's the goal. It's supposed to be hidden and integrated into the frame. All of that water then drains out through one of our posts. You can obviously drain it out of multiple posts if you want, but something that's a little different about our unit is you can choose only one post if you only want to drain out of one. It all drains down through the post itself as it's hollow and out through the bottom. Now the frame is different this year. We've totally redesigned our product for ease of installation and better aesthetics. We wanted to hit both of those things. The first thing you'll notice on the top here is there's no exposed fasteners. Something we had people comment on before was our fasteners on the outside gave a more industrial look, and that's what you'll see out of almost every other commercial grade pergola in the market is exposed fasteners. Ours you can put together with just a few fasteners in each corner to reassemble the product as it was designed and shipped out from our facility here. So that means you have a much faster installation. I know multiple installs that have only taken 6 hours. Most people it'll take a day, day and a half to be able to put this back together. As long as you can run a couple power tools, you can do that. And the best part is, with that ease of installation, you still get the exact same structural strength we had before. Whether you live in Aspen and you have 10,000 pound snow capacities on top of your roof, or you live in Miami-Dade County and you have 185-mile-an-hour winds, we have a pergola that can fit for your area and be rated and permitted by your local officials. And that's something you just won't see from most of the other products out there unless you pay 2 to 3 times as much for a commercial grade local installer to install it for you. We'll walk you through that permitting process, help you design your pergola for your specific patio, walk you through what you need in order to get it done, and then ship it out to you. And along with that, your patio may not look the same as your neighbors or your parents. So we are now offering custom sizing to whatever size your patio needs and whatever post height you need. If you need 16 feet and a half inch, we can get that done so that it fits your patio seamlessly. Now I want to talk about our accessories because people kept asking about products that were just as high quality as the rest of the unit. So we're going to walk over there and I want to talk through all the different accessories that we're now offering. One of the things that people kept asking us about were smart controls. So now we have the ability for you to operate it from your smartphone. All you do is just tap closed and then go ahead and close the unit. So the other thing that goes in with that is the ability to have a sun, wind, or rain sensor. The idea there is if it's raining, it'll automatically close the unit for you. And that's something that is integrated into this package. Same thing's true for wind sensor, although you don't need it with our product. We had 2 customers that were in a solid hurricane, had their louvers open, decided they didn't want them open in the middle of the hurricane and closed them during the storm. So the wind sensor you can use obviously if you want to. It is solar powered, battery powered. It's just a nice feature to add. Now the other features that we have included as well as other options you could do, over here we have our slat wall. Now our slat wall here is with the aluminum slats, so the concept here is the same grade as everything else. You have now integrated into a little bit more privacy and a little bit more of a shielded environment. On this side here, a lot of people have been mounting TVs so that they have an outdoor TV integrated in their space and they can put it right in the middle of that slat wall. And that is what I would do if I were you. On the back side here, you'll notice that we have these big heaters. Now these heaters are designed by a company called Infratech. They're also made in the USA. These are made out in California. These are 6,000 watt heaters. To make complicated things short, 6,000 watt heaters means it heats more area than most of the other heaters you would otherwise buy that are 1,500 watts, which is basically the amount of power as a hair dryer. A 1,500 watt heater will only heat a 5x5 or a 25 square foot area. These 6,000 watt heaters, mounted where they are about 9 feet up, will heat a 10x10 square or 100 square feet. So 2 of these will heat the entire space. These are infrared heaters, meaning they don't heat up air and then blow it out. They actually use infrared rays to heat up the objects themselves. So they're not affected by a whole lot of wind coming through. You can still warm a space even if there is a lot of wind out that day. These heaters are something that we are really excited about. Now on the front here, you'll notice our crown molding. Now we've had this for a long time. There's no change in the overall aesthetic of the crown molding, but you'll find that the connection points from crown to crown are simpler. We're using the same sort of technique we have down at the base collar to be able to use corner keys to give nice closed tight miters up on the crown as well. So you get better alignment and a much easier installation, as well as a register point built into the crown molding so that you know when you have it in the right spot. These little details that we think are really important. The other thing you'll notice is a nice color around the perimeter. This is our LED lights that we offer as well. The LED lights obviously are gradable. You can use whatever color, temperature you want. You can make them respond to music. You can do all sorts of things with these LEDs, and I think a lot of people have a lot of fun with these LEDs, and it's something I think that adds something very different to our product late at night. We also sell slat receivers. The receivers you see on that side are so that you can put whatever you want in there instead. So the receivers allow you to have a nice, no exposed fastener design with the same color as the rest of the unit here, that then you mount whatever you'd prefer. So if it's gonna be cedar, like you see on this side, you gotta have a nice cedar wall. It's a little bit more affordable, but you still have something that looks integrated with the rest of the unit. The last thing that we have for our pergola that a lot of people take advantage of is our center beam. Now our center beam can be used to mount all sorts of things. It can be used to mount the fans that we also offer on our store, or it can be used to mount lights if you want to just have lights, or if you want to put the heaters on the middle of your unit to better zone out your space. Say you have a really large space, the center beams are good for that. They're very useful and something that people definitely use for all sorts of different purposes. The last thing you don't see here is our shade systems. Now, our shades we're obviously very excited about, and people have been buying them for the last several years. The shade systems are also manufactured here in the US, in New York, and shipped down here to us for us to be able to offer to you guys. These shades are able to handle all sorts of wind as well. You can look at our website for all the information about the shades, but those are something that people use a lot, and I use personally for my pergola at home, especially in the winter. I close all the shades, open up the roof, and grill underneath my pergola all the time, and I think that's something that people are definitely enjoying about our unit. Now, outside obviously of all the accessories and extra components you can buy if you'd like to, the fasteners and the way it's anchored down is one of the most important parts of our product. So I want to talk through the fasteners and why our product gets its strength just at the base level. So we'll talk about that. Down here we have the footing section of the pergola. So underneath this base collar here is a solid piece of stainless steel, also sourced here in America. That piece of stainless steel then gets anchored down to your concrete, and then we cover it with this decorative base collar so that you don't have to see all of the technical strength that's underneath the base collar. For the fasteners, we're looking at two different options. The Pro model here is this Titan anchor, which is heavy duty, even though it is relatively modestly sized. For the Ultra, we have to go with this enormous big Hummer here. This is where you get that crazy wind load that we're talking about earlier in the video, as well as the high snow loads that we need in certain areas of the United States. But obviously both of these two, and the base collar and the base plate underneath here, that's what holds the whole thing down. I want to thank you guys for watching this extensive video talking about our product, the accessories, the heaters, the build quality. Obviously a lot of thought went into this product. If you want to reach out and see how to design it, you can find us obviously online, talk to any one of us. But from our family to yours, we are the Luxury Pergola, we are the Elmore family. Thanks for watching.